Working. Yep, that looks good.
Come with me now. 넌 어디까지 가길 원해? We go, we go, we go, we go. 이미 난 너무나도 들떠. 비행기는 no no. 두피대 속에 check-in. 난 너를 몰래 hashtag. 너와 함께면 나 어디라도 좋아. 1초에 훌쩍 여기저기 가기 right. 내 손 잡아. 한여름 밤의 피서같이 우리들만의 파도 타기. 볼게 우린 너무 많아. 하루 종일 더 깊이 빠져. 어느새 시간이 멈춰. 온종일 내게 설레. 가까워진 것만 같아. Come with me now. 넌 어디까지 가길 원해? 잠깐만 둘이 조금 더 멀리. Follow me now. 너와 함께 가볼래? We go, we go, we go, we go. 말해봐 what you want, you want, what you want, you want, oh. 더 크게 what you want, you want, what you want, you want, oh. Come with me now. 난 너와 함께 가볼래? We go, we go, we go, we go, oh. 푸른 밤새를 light 가슴에 분위기에 물들어 자이래 펼쳐진 오션 우리 패션 시작된 motion 웃음이 번져 빛을 그려주는 미래 우린 같이 이렇게 또 밤새 나를 따라 너를 따라 한 발 두 발 날아가 종일 뒹구는 주말같이 끝을 모르는 파도 타기 함께 우린 너무 많아 Oh my mind 다른 발걸음을 맞춰 우리 둘 사이를 채워 다시 또 turn around 내게 설레 가까워진 것만 같아 So I'm into you Come with me now 넌 어디까지 가길 원해 잠깐만 둘이 조금 더 멀리 Follow me now 난 너와 함께 가볼래 We go, we go, we go, we go 펼쳐진 파노라마 너로 다 칠해진 맘 바쁜 timeline No we can't stop 발끝이 또 흔들려 가슴이 또 일렁여 어쩔 줄 모르고 난 Come with me now 난 돌아가기 싫은가 봐 이렇게 둘이 아주 더 멀리 Follow me now 문지도 맘이 도는 게 너와 나 말해봐 what you want, you want, what you want, you want, oh 더 크게 what you want, you want, what you want, you want, oh We go, we closer now 우리가 연결된 시간 We go, we go, we go, we go,
Good evening, and Promise 9 have gone. Yes, welcome back to Keskalokil, my dwarven fortress in which we have just discovered a new cluster of kaolinite. Well, not really just discovered, I found it a while ago, but didn't get around to mining it, that adjoins the caverns. And so I've started mining that in order to provide myself with more porcelain, because porcelain is quite a high value material, and we have like a tradition of using it to build bedroom walls and floors and such, in order to increase their value. And generally it would be nice to have more porcelain in the place. Possibly we could use it to make jugs, but mostly what we do with jugs is we fill them with royal jelly and then sell them to visiting trade caravans. Though I suppose thus you want your jugs to be quite high value, since one of their two purposes is to be sold to trade caravans. SGT attempts to describe on IRC to write a Dwarf Fortress style alt text for my Dwarf Fortress screenshot, which kind of works. Bedstead doesn't really have spikes because it has no acute angles in it. All the angles are 90 degrees or 135 degrees. So yes, we're mining stuff down here. We recently set up a squad of amphibious dwarves for trying to kill goblins more effectively. I think possibly I could usefully find more dwarves who know how to swim to stick in that, even if they don't know how to wield a weapon yet, because that's much easier to teach. There's actually a mechanism for scheduling teaching people to wield a weapon, whereas there really isn't for swimming. We have had to build this stupid thing with minecarts and so forth, but people are using it, which is nice. Oh yes, we've got a dwarf and goblin corpses here in the river, which we might be able to get out with another one of my mad drainage facilities. That we'll have to go straight through this temple. Well, we should probably make a nice hole in the floor and build a wall around the drain pipe. Though actually, I think we could probably make the curves a bit. We could make the pipes a little less vertically downwards, and they'd probably still work pretty well. Let's allow some time to pass so that the poor merchants can pack up all of the crafts I've sold them without bins.
The problem is you are kind of indirectly responsible for the entire royal jelly wellness industry in this world, aren't you?
Well, I would love not to be, but the only way I found to get royal jelly out of a jug is to melt the jug. And then I end up with royal jelly in my smelter, which isn't much more helpful. I mean, in theory you could cook them, but in practice it seems to be... but in practice it seems to be so hard to get that to happen. Is there still some royal jelly in my smelter? Yes, there it is. It's still lying around in there. Because there's nothing you can do with a puddle of royal jelly on the floor. Herring. Herring. We aren't bothering to catch fish. Oh, I think incidentally, yes, I was slightly worried about the way that this otter appears to be, looks as though at first glance it might be drowning, but actually I think that's just he's currently so far underwater it can't breathe, but that's perfectly safe for an otter, being as it is an otter. And in particular, it's not actually listed as drowning because, well, it's quite happy down there. It can come back to the surface to breathe, like this one, which is on the surface and is not marked in blue. Yes, we do have a small quantity of sea otters kicking around at the moment. Probably hunting the herring. Pinkbee says, can't you get a dwarf with a long tongue to eat the royal jelly and get a very sticky beard? No. I'm not 100% sure that dwarves even have tongues. I mean, they probably do, but yes, they have teeth. I think they must surely have tongues. Light. Right, so yes, we could just dig. Well, which way would we have to go? We could try to drain that. Let's do the same thing we usually do, even though it does involve building a weird thing in the centre of the of this temple, and probably moving that green glass statue a bit. Yes, so we want it there. That's probably... How do I usually do this? I've forgotten. I usually have a hole in the wall of the riverbank there. And then the vertical. So I think we want to punch through the riverbank wall there, and so the vertical shaft will be there. Let's mark that. No, let's press some more buttons and make this actually work properly. Oh, it's all raining outside. Right there. And then we'll want to build a wall around that, won't we? Yes. With a door. I suppose if this is going to be... Actually, let's not do that yet. Since this is going to be in a temple, let's actually put a nice porcelain wall around the whole. Because that will increase the value of the temple.
Oh yes, what became of the very strange toddler?
I think they died. I'm not sure, but...
I mean, it wouldn't be a very strange toddler now.
No. We are like 8 years into the game now.
So there'd be a very strange...
Oh no, was it Nishkema Shubal?
Might think. They were...
Nishkema Shubal is now quite happy while still being a legendary wood crafter, and is 7 years old. So I think...
Not a surgeon anymore?
yes, actually, that's the thing. The one you're thinking of was a legendary surgeon or something, weren't they? Or not quite legendary. Let me have another look. Maybe it's someone else who might have died. I mean, this Nishkema Shubal got irritated and resentful and guilty early on in their life, and angry. Yeah, I think it's Nishkema Shubal you're thinking of, because they were also, or at least they're one of them, because they were also the one who was angry about the fact that we'd abandoned the agreement to construct a temple for them. But now there is a temple, and yes, they're generally happy. They occasionally get to be near a waterfall. They have a bedroom like a personal palace, and they get to play with the toy hammer. I mean, I think we might have had at least one legendary child. Who has died, because we did lose a few in that. Ooh, there's a dead Kia in the sea. In the drains, and then the catastrophic flooding incidents. So what's going on with...
Work out if your fortress is situated in the Netherlands or in soggy bits of the UK, in terms of the UK.
Where's our rule for making bricks? Make clay bricks rule is actually active. It doesn't even have any conditions. It just keeps going as long as it possibly can. Which should mean that, like, we are now actually making clay bricks, because we can get some there is a make clay bricks task scheduled, at least. Do we have any potters? So I think I set up a group of potters. We've only got 2. Let's allocate another couple, because it looks like no one is actually working on the making clay bricks at the moment. Oh, did that just get cancelled? Does that mean... needs refined coal. Oh, what? We've got plenty of refined coal. Is that set up with some... I thought we had plenty of refined coal. And if we haven't, then we need to make some. Bronze, brass, steel, pig iron, platinum, electrum, tin, fine pewter, truffle pewter, blah blah, billion, sterling silver, bismuth, rock nut, soap, no coal. We've run out of coke. Well, that's a bit embarrassing, isn't it? Why have we run out of coke? How we ran out of coke is because the smelter got hooked up to the wrong rules. Yes, got hooked up to the wrong stockpiles. It currently has a melter metal object task, which presumably is about to fail for lack of coal.
Maybe you should report it.
Oh, if we've managed to get down to 0 coal, we have a bootstrapping problem.
Oh dear.
It's fine. Essentially you need some heat source in order to convert coal into coke.
Yeah. That's fine. First you mine some coal and then you use some of that coal to turn.
Apparently not, no, because you need coke to make coke, apparently, or charcoal. So we need to press the make myself 1 unit of charcoal button in order to bootstrap the process.
Okay. Dwarves, you're all weird.
Happily, we bought a load of wood from the trade caravan. Actually, just to be on the like safe side, let's make a reasonable quantity of charcoal. So yes, there will be a short delay while we get our various production systems functional again. We'll stick a grating over that hole in the floor of the temple so no one falls down it. Tristan suggests, can you put charcoal in an in case of emergency break glass stockpile? Possibly, but frankly just occasionally making some charcoal is probably going to be the easiest. Like, actually we could have a scheduled task that is make charcoal, but only if amount of refined coal is less than 1. So in the event that we completely run out, we'll then automatically make some, which will like recover us from that situation if it ever happens, as long as we have any wood at all. But conveniently the world grows wood. Right, and here is someone burning some wood into charcoal. I've struck turquoise. Yes. Well, let's mine some gems, they're useful. not have a kaolinite stockpile up near the
You probably did.
kiln?
You probably had to fill it full of royal jelly.
We've got a little gypsum stockpile there. Oh yes, there we are. Kaolinite stockpile. It's just covered in mud, so it looks weird.
Was that a result of the flooding incident?
Might be. That might be why everything in this fortress is covered in mud. For some reason, dwarves don't seem to think mud is something they should clean off.
Well, it's perfectly ordinary, like, bits of earth. And they're
Yes.
very happy with, minerals in general. They're not so happy with, water,
Blood.
blood, bits of goblin, of people's teeth. I mean, fair, really, unless you're the tooth fairy. That's kind of fair enough.
Wrong button. So I think we can sensibly connect that existing drain down there to the new thing that I'm trying to drain. I think that will be fine. Let me just make a hole there. Yeah, I know Judson says doesn't look like forest fires can just happen in Dwarf Fortress. No. I think you need... I was considering this because I thought it might be helpful not for it to actually have a forest fire, but to turn my current waste disposal system into an incinerator of some sort. But it looks like... I mean, in the past I've done this by getting it to drop things into lava, which is a bit cheaty. Well, it's not really cheaty, it works perfectly well, but it requires an awful lot of digging and getting lava and so forth.
And then you have a faint risk that people have come there and try and throw their rings of power in, and it all gets very messy at this point.
So
Or they kind of try to forge their rings of power, which, in the long run isn't great for the property values in the area either.
so so I tried to work out whether there was a way you could actually start a fire, but because if we could, then we could just occasionally throw lumps of coal down there and it would keep burning and would burn other things as well. But it looks like you need magma or a dragon or something similar to start a fire. Like, right. Dwarves rather curiously can't randomly set fire to things in an uncontrolled fashion, i.e. outside of a workshop.
So, let's just say we know from the Discworld and many other sources that having dragons light your fires is not always a good thing.
Yeah.
Even in the Discworld, where the dragons come in a small and a compact variety.
I think there are small and compact dragons in Dwarf Fortress, but they are sadly not flamigerous, or whatever the correct word is.
Well, I mean, you also have to be glad that they're probably not like Cratchit swamp dragons, in that they don't also go pop at the slightest provocation.
Yes.
So you win some, you lose some.
Dwarf Fortress's proper dragons are, well, proper dragons, and emit fire that is terrifyingly hot, much hotter than magma.
They're all coloured on the black then.
And yeah, they will...
And you don't want one in your mountain hall, etc.
Not if you can avoid it, no. Entertainingly, shields still work against dragonfire, so... but I have never met a dragon in Dwarf Fortress.
That's probably for the best, really.
I mean, yes, it would be quite nice if we could actually have a working incinerator without needing magma. Or dragons. I mean, admittedly, if we could get a dragon and arrange that it was used to incinerate our rubbish, that would be very cool.
However, in order for this to happen, I suspect many things would be very hot, and most of them would be dwarves.
Yes. Yes, I think wooden shields work perfectly well to block dragonfire, perversely.
Well,
Because they block it.
Apparently. At
okay. Oh, I should see if the Mouse of the Month video for One and Only has pineapples in it. It probably does.
They probably don't have pineapple skins used as armour though.
No.
But if any of you care to go looking for that, it's probably it's fairly safe to search so long as you exclude Tumblr.
Right. So anyway, what are we doing? We're trying to rebootstrap our petrochemicals industry. That's it.
I suppose coke is petrochemicals, yes.
Kind of.
But certainly hydrocarbons.
I think we're unfortunately automatically using quite a lot of that charcoal for other jobs. Oh no, we've got some coke. Excellent. And we will consume some bituminous coal. Let's just check that we're not like in danger of running out of bituminous coal. We've struck indigo tourmaline.
That sounds very pretty.
So no, I want stocks, don't I? Stocks, rocks, no, stones. Got an awful lot of iron ore. We could probably turn some of that into iron. 175 bituminous coal already mined. Right, we don't need to mine more bituminous coal. Right, and now we can actually start fueling some of our...
Porcelain making whatnot.
Yes. The porcelain making whatnot is making porcelain bricks. Excellent. Also, we found some lignite. That's nice, but we're already quite well off for coal. Quickly mine that turquoise and indigo tourmaline. Oh, and that grey chalcedony. And that milk quartz. There we go. Nice lot of gems for my gem cutters to work on. I'm wondering if there's more of this on the other side of that lignite vein. No, because we've got some bedrock coming through, layer stone chert coming through there. So that means that the lignite there isn't going to be more kaolinite on the other side of that lignite. Oh, we found more milk quartz. Where did we find that? Oh, down there, up here. Right, yes. I think we've got the legendary miners up here. They're going a bit faster. But we do seem to be scheduling that make more... Oh yes, of course, if we have a single smelter that is both smelting things and making coal, we need to make sure we've got enough coal making jobs in the cycle that the amount of coal we get goes up and not down. Because otherwise we'll run out. And this is currently, I think coke from bituminous coal is 4, we get 4 out, and lignite we get 3 out or something, so that's probably okay, as long as we're doing both of those tasks. Anyway, we've probably got some porcelain bricks now, so we can put them around here. Yep. Okay, we've apparently only got one porcelain brick. What? How have we only got one? I did. Oh, do you actually make? Oh, I think unlike rock blocks, you do actually make them in ones. Well, oops. Oh, we've got two now. Yeah, so I'm used to rock blocks, which you make in fours. Justin says, do not be tempted to replace the sea door with a prettier porcelain one. Happily, you can't make doors out of porcelain, so there's no danger of that. Right, that's almost mined out now. We seem to have struck turquoise again. It's a weirdly slow bit of digging. Ooh.
Wait through all the mud.
No, it's not muddy down here. It's a fresh bit of cavern. Well, not cavern, of fresh bit of mine working. So we haven't yet flooded this bit.
Give it time.
Right. So now the idea is the water from the new drain comes down here and runs down into that existing drain, which is probably acceptable. Actually, no, let's not bother putting a hatch cover over that. Let's just wall it in. If I do it this way, then it doesn't. Then it can all be built without needing any careful scheduling to avoid people treading on one another's toes. We're short of bags apparently. Let's. Can I just have a work order that makes cloth bags occasionally? Whenever we have too few empty bags, that seems like a good plan.
Do these jobs? Do they raise a little message that says, "Oh no, I tried to make bags, but we didn't have any"?
Yes, though currently we get so many cancellations that I don't pay much attention to them. I do try to. Right. We do get an awful lot of could not collect hive products. item lost or destroyed, and I don't really know what the item in question is.
You can only hope that it's the royal jelly, but it's probably not.
No. Oh, there's some gem, yes. Took a little bit of searching to see it. Yes, I don't think I'm varying my volume very much, but I might be. I think at the moment I don't have any automatic gain control on OBS, so I just try to talk at a level. We're a bit lower than usual. Let's turn that up a bit. I try to aim for, about that level. The bit when OBS goes from orange to red in its meters. Which is also the level that I set the music at. Oh yes, we've got a mandate we should probably pay attention to, haven't we? Picks and querns. You want 3 picks and 3 querns. Okay.
It starts to sound like some maths problem.
Like, we really don't need querns. Querns, we've got a quern, that's the correct number of querns.
Is there anything you should be manufacturing for the next round of trade? Or
I'm kind of not worrying much about that at the moment, in that they don't, since we are now the capital of the civilization, no one asks us for anything in particular. And we just make crafts out of any bones or shells or horns or beeswax that happens to be lying around.
how do you end up as the capital?
Be big enough that the king decides to come here, essentially.
So you'll become capital by election.
Yes, we are now the capital. Yes. Right. More being stung by honeybees. Try to get to the point where I actually at least see. So we do have a shortage of gypsum where we're trying to make plaster. I did have an area that I was deliberately using for gypsum mining down here, which was reasonably dry. Let's put in a medium priority bid for a bit more gypsum mining. That's the wrong. Oh! Apparently you can mine gypsum like that, can you? Okay, well let's. That might end us up mining too much gypsum. Because now everyone's going to come up here and do their mining up here. Right, that's all of the porcelain that we need, porcelain bricks that we need in order to make that. Ooh, have we run out of honey? That would be weird. Yes, we have lots of convenient beak dog bones from that last goblin attack that we're converting into bracelets, which some of which will be taken by the dwarves, but plenty of them will be available to be sold, and we'll probably end up studding some of them with gems.
Like that tourmaline you just found.
Yes. Right, here come some dwarves with porcelain bricks to assemble the rest of that wall. Then I can stick a nice door there. Ooh, all our doors are currently wooden. Let's put a masterwork cherry wood door in the gap then. And I suppose, yes, officially we can keep that drain being part of the temple, even if it's not actively being not available for worship, because it will probably be locked some of the time. So now, how do we dig in here? Probably be most convenient just to come down from above rather than going in from below, though that makes, that has the danger that we'll end up connecting it to the outside, that in particular, because it's on the far side of the river, it would be rather too easy for the goblins to get in. So let's just build a staircase up from, no, that's not right, up from the temple. Tunnel through to there. Actually, I should do this at higher priority than that gypsum mining, because otherwise it'll never happen. No, not that deep. Just there. And that wants to be a hole in the floor there so that it ends up on top of there. Yes, right, that's fine. Right, we've satisfied a couple of mandates. The king still doesn't have everything he wants. The duke would like a better dining room. What's happened to the duke's dining room? Surely the duke's dining room hasn't changed. Oh no, what size is? Why does the duke's dining room has been enlarged? Had the wall knocked down to the next room, but hasn't actually been properly enlarged to cover it. Let's ask to repaint that dining room a bit so that it actually includes that room as well. That might improve matters a bit. Right, the Duke's dining room is now acceptable. For some reason that was like a thing that I wanted to do ages ago. but didn't get round to. Right, good. We now have a decent quantity of empty bags. Yes, the Duke simply didn't know that he could use the other half of his dining room. Right, we're not going to have a shortage of gypsum anytime soon. I mean, they'll stop if they find anything damp, so it should be fairly safe. It's pleasant watching the dwarves automatically mining things, at least when they get it reasonably close to right. Right, so lots of happy mining going on there. And we are successfully processing plants to bags again. And still turning beak dog bones into bracelets. Right, so that bit of tunnelage up there is done. Now we want to stick a hatch cover in there. Okay, there's a slight danger we're going to catch a load of mackerel if I do this. Right, we're going to need a lever. I'm slightly now worried about my naming for these drain levers. I'm getting rather a lot of them, and like, maybe I need to actually just name the hatch covers and then name the levers after the hatch covers. I think I should do that because I've got things like East River Upper Drain, and that's going to be fine until we want to put a drain higher than the upper drain and what have you. Like there, we have something that operates the East River Middle Drain. I think that's this one. Or rather this one. So maybe we should give them, like, call them East River Drain A and so forth. SGT says, I hope the building containing the hatch covers is called the hatchery. I'm afraid not. It's actually a mason's workshop. So yes, so I think we should like actually give these more arbitrary names simply to avoid confusion. That's the East River Upper Drain, isn't it? That one there. So let's instead call that East River Drain A, and then we'll also label the corresponding hatch cover, drain A. I think that one's East River middle drain. And then we have East River lower drain. We have East River West lower drain and East River lower drain. So East River West lower drain must be that one. Let's make that East River drain C. So I'm now thinking I should have chosen a naming scheme that doesn't rely on my being able to find all of the earlier ones first. But they're... And that one is then East River lower drain, which is East River drain D. Right. Yes, Dizzy, at the sea, the tides come all the way up to that place, Dog in a Doublet Sluice. Basically, the tides come up all the way to Erith. I once took my parents to the highest point of tidal water on the Great Ouse, because that's the kind of exciting family we are.
Which was what, all of about 3 metres above sea level? No.
You do sometimes get seals at Erith.
Okay.
They do occasionally come all the way up the river.
I mean, in fact, how is sea level determined with respect to high and low tide?
Usually mean a high water of spring tides for Ordnance Survey purposes at Newlyn. And then everything else is levelled from Newlyn.
Right, so you can in fact have seas that are above or below sea level. Obviously, famously, you have
Yes.
the Dead Sea, which is famously below sea level. Obviously.
Right, so yeah, we're going to need that child not to be standing in that doorway when we start doing interesting things. Right, the lever is ready. There is an as yet unconnected bauxite lever. We're waiting for someone to haul the hatch cover all the way over to that place. There they are. Oh, we're going to need a door as well, aren't we? In order to keep the river out. Oh, needs adjacent wall. Plant roots on both sides don't count as wall, right? Let us remove that one square of plant root and we'll turn it into... And we'll actually build a wall there just in order to fix this problem. Of course, all my miners are either mining gypsum or somewhere else mining kaolinite, but I'm sure they'll come and sort out this bit of digging drains shortly. You've struck cassiterite. That's nice. I don't think we have a very much use for cassiterite. We also apparently have all the bituminous coal piled up in that square. Right. Have you turned up to do my digging? Yes. If I could find out what the inaccessible item you were trying to put in the stockpile was, then I would then I might be able to do something about it, but without that information it's a bit difficult. Oh yes, we should hook up that lever now. Which will be called drain E. And once that wall's built, we can then attach a door to it. Thank you. Yes, if you want to name your Warhammer, that's fine. I'm sure it's a very nice Warhammer.
So they don't tell you about their Warhammer in excruciating detail.
Is someone wandering across with siltstone blocks? Yes, good. There's nothing going on in the leatherworks. Is that because we're out of leather? No. Okay, what leather clothes do people want? Your shirt is a bit worn. Let's make some new leather shirts. And your shoes were a bit worn, so we'll make some leather shoes as well. Oh, we've run out of potash. Maybe I should make some more.
Giant waters will harm to the making of this state.
It looks like we're still running along rather too close to not having any coal. Also, someone has apparently managed to... People seem to have dropped a bunch of clothes in the minecart run. They don't seem to be owned by anyone. It's as though someone decided halfway through their minecart ride to undress and replace all their clothes, which seems kind of strange. The minecarts are still in their proper positions, so possibly that's why we're getting all these item inaccessible messages. Let's forbid those items just to make sure that no one actually tries to fetch them. And then we'll have a look at this message. Oh, goblin thieves have entered the map. Right. Well, let us gratuitously summon our ludicrously named aquatic goblins. Oh, there are two more. Amphibious troops to who have conveniently met a child. Is that a child? Have they managed to snatch a child? That would be slightly impressive. You've still just got an empty wombat leather bag with you. So have you. So no, I don't think they did. I mean, the fact that we've spotted these goblin thieves means that they're unlikely to succeed. Like, we know where they are now. They have seen a military dwarf. It's taken quite a lot of running around. I mean, I suppose if we can chase them off the map, that's acceptable. Right, one of them's been killed. That goblin no longer has its bag. Are you tired? Yes. After all this goblin chasing. I mean, I could summon more of my military, but it seems excessive. Like, this is not a job that should need a lot of dwarves. They are unarmed and unarmoured. All they had on their side was stealth, and we found them. he says, having lost them again. Let's have a look at the... Oh yes, they don't appear to be on the map anymore. Right. I mean, I'm slightly surprised that you're still allowed to be scheduled to kill them, but whatever. Yeah, you could do with a new shield, couldn't you? If I just tag that shield for dumping, do you think that will work? So what are you actually carrying? What is this item that you've decided to store, or is it not? It doesn't look like it is. Right, that wall's built now while we were distracted. But also all the mackerel have cleared off. Damn it. Not that we're short of food. Yes, lots of things cancelled by interruption from goblin thieves. That's not a goblin, is it? No, it's a guinea cock. Yes, we do. Our coal refining processes do seem to be a bit prone to running out of coal. Slightly wonder if I would do well to have a smelter that was solely dedicated to making coke. Because I think part of the problem is that at the moment there are lots of other jobs that happen that use up the coke faster than it can be made. So if I were to build a smelter that just had the coke making jobs attached to it, then it would work faster. And we'd be less prone to running out of them. Whatever. So that batch of gypsum mining is finished. So we can now hope that, well, we can wait for that to all get used up before we go in search of more, though there's a bit more up here. And then we can start clearing out this area because it's not too wet now. So all of that kaolinite has been mined. So there's some more around here. Just wondering how we connect that up to the fortress more generally. We will want to get it up to the to that area. Ideally, I suppose there's that staircase which is what we're currently using for hauling kaolinite up. So that would suggest that we should, if we're going to do this kaolinite, we should do it from this side. Yes, that's sensible, isn't it? Let's have a low priority job to mine like 2 squares this way, then 1 level down, oops, no, not like that. That would be a bit generous. And then, like before, carefully around the edge of the cavern. So that then we can auto mine everything else. Once that's done. Damp, is it? Wonder why. Is it because as it's damp here, that's below siltstone, which shouldn't be aquiferous. Curious. Let's try going down a bit further and seeing what we find. Why is it damp? I mean, there is this bit, oh, there's that bit of conglomerate there. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe there's like bits of conglomerate around here. Yes, damp means there's water 1 cell away, which might mean that there, which in this case probably means actually there's an adjacent cell of aquifer. And that might be above. So the issue might be that it could be that this cell is an aquifer, except that it's siltstone, which can't support an aquifer. So I don't quite know why this square would be damp. That would suggest that one of these two is an aquifer. Since, again, chert, I believe, can't support an aquifer. Anyway, have we built that smelter yet that I'm going to turn into my dedicated coal smelter? Please do not comment that coal does not need smelting. Yes, so Seb says, then explain Chertsey. Yes, thank you. I was born in Chertsey. Right, so what's our current? So currently we have make coke from bituminous coal. At least my passport says I was born in Chertsey. If we have more than 10 bituminous coal and less than 20 coke, and similarly for lignite. So let us add those 2 tasks here. No, I don't want to add, I want to add work order. Make coke from bituminous coal with conditions. It's completely wrong. If the amount of refined coal, of course, because refined coal is both an input and an output to this process. If the amount of refined, I suppose thus we should say, if the amount of refined coal available is greater than 1 or greater than 0 and less than, yes, Runnymede is what it says on my birth certificate, and less than 10, but isn't it where one of the Magna Cartae was signed? And it was set to 20 before. So I think that's the sensible setup. Right, and that one's now, let's give this a new name, let's call it the cokery. I think that might even be a real word. And then we also want to add a make coke from lignite job with similar conditions. And then we want to configure the cokery to be not allowed to do any other work orders. And then we can remove those general work orders to make bituminous, to make coke, because there's now a dedicated smelter for the job. Don't know if this will work. What are you fighting with? Oh dear. I think you've been run down by a minecart, haven't you? That's usually the thing that injures cats. Doesn't seem to be a dead cat there. Let's see where it happened. Oh, no. I think the cat managed to fall out of or possibly into a tree. How embarrassing. I mean, for the cat. All right, yes, we found some more conglomerate here. Just thinking we should probably smooth the conglomerate we can get at. Anyway, we were trying to drain some of the river and hoping to catch mackerel, but were rather foiled by the fact that the mackerel had dematerialised. But I think we have actually now got all the other stuff set up. So we should find that if we pull the lever for East River Drain E, that hatch opens. So now we could schedule a high priority. No, first we could forbid that door. And then try scheduling a high priority digging job to dig that wall. Let us follow the person who's going to do our digging for us. Oh, I think maybe that looked like that was someone lugging lignite around, as it were. We should possibly try to ensure that there's actually a coal stockpile available and that people use wheelbarrows to move things to it. This is a very odd route. Right, let us let the river in. Release the river. Don't get distracted by the cat. The cat is blocking the door. I mean, I think that's safe, but... Cat, you might want not to stand there. Thank you. Now there's a tooth blocking the door. We're going to slightly flood this. Hang on, that's going to be a problem. Oh no, the door's closed. Excellent. The tooth got washed through the door. Right. Let us mark that tooth for dumping. Ditto the goblin corpse. Skeleton. And that tin flask has already been claimed by someone. Are there any more objects around here that we want to get swept in? And it'd be nice to pick up those. They might move yet. Judson asks, are the safe from drowning water depths the same for dwarves and smaller creatures like cats? I have no idea. Oh, there's an entire skeleton there, probably of a blind cave troll, cave ogre. Wonder if we can get it out. Doesn't look like we can. I slightly wonder what happens if we open another one of the drains at the same time. Will that cause this water level to drop far enough for interesting effects to happen? Let's have a go. Where's the lever for drain D? Just have a look down and check that nothing is more flooded than expected. Okay, we're starting to flood at that level. That might be a problem, don't know. Right, so now we've opened both of these drains with the slight hope that, oh, that is shifting some objects actually. Okay, the blind cave ogre skeleton still seems to be stuck. But a bunch of other objects are moving. So I shall wait a bit and see if they finish moving. So that seems to be the one square we can't drain by this means. Oh, possibly we could even shift these guys up here with a bit more drainage. Right, we're lowering the river level a little. Should we try opening another one? I think this is an entirely safe thing to do, in that we won't flood anywhere very surprising. All that water is happily flowing down here, along there and into the caverns. Well, we're definitely shifting objects quite a way upstream, like that goblin corpse is moving now. which has been stuck for a while. The ogre skeleton is still there. We have a bunch of things actually stuck on top of drain B. So let's find the lever for drain B as well. I'm sure it'll be safe. It looks like we're now that one's still not open, is it? Though all the stuff on top of it has already got washed away. Yes, so you can see here we're getting a bunch of improving items masterfully, which is probably by... all right, that's now open, isn't it? Really? With too deep? Yes. But the ogre skeleton is still stuck. Judson says, an engraved microcline slab or crafts dwarfship is of the highest quality. It depicts dwarves and some water. The water surrounds the dwarves. It is engraved with, I think this is an entirely safe thing to do. Yeah, we did just find someone who'd been drowned. That's bad. Where are they? Oh dear. Yes, that looks like a bad place to be drowned. What are you doing down there? That's like in the drains. That's a place where drowning is highly likely, really. Let's close all those valves. We've probably drained enough of the river for today. I think there's still one I need to find. There it is. Oh dear, yes, someone did drown as a result of that. At least one person drowned as a result of that. Because they were in places they should not be. Still, we've closed all the valves now. Right, an awful lot of stuff has ended up in this square. So we should probably unforbid it all. and then probably dump some of it. Maybe if we wait for everything that isn't someone's tooth to be removed. There's also a bunch of stuff in that trap. Of which the goblin skeleton can obviously be dumped. Also appears to be an arm in that trap, which can be dumped. Still, that's got all of the dwarf skeletons out of the river. That's nice. There's still some dwarf skeletons in the sea, but yes, those two. Well, we've tried to get them out. It caused catastrophic flooding. Oh, I have a little bit of cold tea left. So good job, I quite like cold tea, really. So this mostly contains parts of Ber-Uleduxos. Who is or was Ber-Uleduxos? Right, they were a goblin. In that case, all of those parts of Ber-Uleduxos can be dumped, which I think I will do by marking the entire contents of the square for dumping, and then unmarking those willow logs and the bauxite floor grate. No, the thoughts of dead creatures are lost forever. Oh, except possibly if they come back as a ghost. They might still have their thoughts if you do that. If they do that. Right, now 17 separate dwarves will carry the individual teeth of that goblin to the rubbish dump. How are we doing for spare? We've still got at least some spare tombs. Should probably do a round of things. You want a crown. Those crowns happen automatically, really. We'll make 1 bin and 3 picks then. Steph asks, where does the tomb corridor go when it reaches the edge? I think I then start another one. We just move sideways a bit. But we've got some distance to go before we reach the edge. Or maybe like wiggles around a bit and starts coming back north again. That will make it rather a long walk to fill it up. Yes, true. I mean, there's a kind of poetry to making it a longer and longer walk to bury people the more of them we kill. What are you doing? Oh, you're gathering plants. Okay. There appears to be someone sleeping in a treetop here. There's a cat clambering around in the tree, but that's perfectly normal. Two cats clambering around in the tree. Let's have a look at the state of this. I mean, the farmer doesn't seem to be unhappy about sleeping in a treetop. Oh, he's woken up now. I mean, I'm slightly concerned by people hanging around in trees, but they don't seem to be hungry or thirsty, so... I think until such time as they are hungry or thirsty, I'm not going to worry about them. There is a dead cat in that tree. Let's mark it for dumping and see if anyone can get to it. It's on the wrong side of the river, so they probably can't. All right, it looks like it might be cherry harvesting season. Just like early winter, maybe there are still some in the trees. Which then should give us some cherries and apricots to brew into suitable kinds of booze. Oh yes, on the subject of suitable kinds of booze, I was going to adjust my cooks to include that talented brewer so that we have slightly more supply of decent brewing. Right, all of the spare bits of goblin have now been removed from the drainage system. There is still the body of a blind cave ogre here. Oh, an iron helm sized for blind cave ogres. So yeah, that's going to be difficult to get out without doing something unpleasant. I think that is I'm currently going to claim is an irretrievable blind cave ogre corpse if we can't do it by the means that we've already tried. I mean, possibly we can get lucky and it'll shift, but anyway, one thing we were doing is trying to dig around here. So let's do a bit more of it. And smooth there so that we don't get too much extra water coming in here. So what's going on with our... Oh yes, we wanted to improve the coal production by putting in... So I don't think we've got any stockpiles for uncoked coal, which is obviously going to be slowing down our ability to actually make the stuff. Because that stockpile is for refined coal. So I think I want to put in a couple of small stockpiles. I want them to be separate so that we can't accidentally end up with a stockpile that's completely full of the wrong kind of raw coal. See, they don't particularly need to be small, do they? Let's have one stockpile there, which will just be for bituminous coal. And let's have 2 wheelbarrows and see how it does. And then we'll have another stockpile just below it, which will be just the same but for lignite. And the reason for having 2 stockpiles is so that we don't end up accidentally having the stockpile full of lignite when we have a job scheduled to make bituminous coal, or vice versa. Right. Let's see if that can make things a bit faster. And then we'll have, oh no, but if we set that up to actually take from the stockpiles, then it also, oh, but is that a general refined coal stockpile? Appears to be set for bars and blocks in general. That's surely not right. Have I accidentally reconfigured it to be useless? Let's reconfigure it to be sensible. It should not be for all bars and blocks. It should be... Right, coal is indistinguishable anyway. For coal only. I'm not quite sure what I just did there. Oh well, that's correct. I'm sure we'll get through this damp stone eventually. Yay, we're through the damp stone. And like accidentally mining some bituminous coal while we're here. goodness, I think we may actually have cooked all of our ingredients. Oops. Is that really true? I mean, possibly those are all things we can brew. I don't think apricots are a spice, really. Yes, we have got lots of ingredients, but they're all the kind you can... why have we got 2 of those jobs? Let's remove that one. All the kind that can be brewed, and we're still like have a slowly declining quantity of alcohol. I think we need a second still. I think we've got lots of stuff that could be brewed into alcohol, but we haven't got any, but we aren't actually brewing it all. So I'm just trying to work out where the honey ends up, but we don't seem to have any at the moment. So well, let's just see how things are going with that bituminous coal stockpile. Right, we now have a stockpile there. It doesn't seem to have any wheelbarrows in it. I think maybe we need to make some more wheelbarrows. But that should help to keep the cokery running busily. Apparently those aren't active. Do we have like a group of people we've designated for doing this and they're now all dead or something? Is there a furnace operator's job? No. Unless I missed it. Oh, furnace operating is assigned to group number 4, apparently. Metal workers apparently also have furnace operating assigned to them, which is kind of weird. Let's turn on some, since we seem to have quite a lot of decent metal workers kicking around. Let's turn on slightly more of them. In the hope that these tasks actually become active. It's possible that I need to temporarily suspend kiln and smelter tasks just in order to give the cokery a chance to catch up. I mean, what happens if I suspend the second task there and also suspend the next task in there? Does that then jam those? Forge isn't busy anyway. No, that doesn't. When I did that, it immediately caused the next item on the list to activate. Right, well, let's try suspending every task. The aim here is to suspend everything that's not making coke. So down here we seem to be having difficulty processing the fruit fast enough. So I think we want a second still. Actually, I just was kind of going, how can we fit it in up here? How about we fit it in down here where there's plenty of space? We just dig an extra hole in the wall. Actually, given the vast amounts we've got, maybe we should put in 2 new stills. Why are you doing that there? Well, no, let's leave a bit of space. Right, so now we have a nice big space that we could build it somehow ended up slightly deeper than it needs to be. Oh well. Right, so if we build a couple more stills, then maybe that will... Actually, 3 stills is excessive when we only have 2 jobs that we're currently set up to schedule for them. Oh, well, I mean, the mead we could have one that makes mead, one that makes things from vegetables, and one that makes things from fruit. Oh, you found some duck eggs. Excellent. We're making charcoal there. Hopefully, maybe if we have a stockpile that's a stockpile that can, yeah, I was going a stockpile that can only give to the smelter, but then that's going to, oh, I don't know how it'll all work. I'll leave it as it is for now. But we may have to make some more charcoal just in order to rebootstrap the process again. I mean, we could make all of the tasks that need coal conditional on having a really very large amount of coal available. But the thing is that since they each consume about 1 per operation, that they'll need to have the threshold at like 50 for that to be reliably safe. Dizzy says, could you have a forbidden emergency coal stockpile? Well, I can, but then that's more or less equivalent to making it out of making charcoal. So I don't think it's very helpful. Like, what I want is one that works automatically. And like the charcoal mechanism works, it's just that what happens is we get stuck in the low coal state rather than being able to transition into like a high coal state where we're making our coal from making coke with coke. We end up in this low coal state when we're making coke with charcoal, which is silly. And slow. But all being well, now we've got some charcoal. There will now be a short delay while that gets stored down here. Our coal stockpile has a load of rubbish in it, because it seems to have at least temporarily had a generic bar/block bin assigned to it. So, what's going on with these? Oh, right, now both stills are active. Excellent, or at least 2 stills are active. Indeed, oh, right, it looks like they've both got both of the tasks assigned to them. That's nice. That should help with our alcohol supply. Oh dear, there's a tooth stuck in this statue. Let's temporarily remove the statue so the tooth can be removed. So it may be quite difficult to construct the statue again afterwards, because the Guildhall is so crowded with people. Just thinking we shouldn't be getting messages saying that things can't be done because of lack of refined coal, except when the thing in question is actually making refined coal, because all of the other tasks should be suspended. briefly alarmed by a stationary dwarf in the swimming pool, but that turned out to be because the game was paused. I suppose, yes, there are going to be piles of wood out here that occasionally have to be brought in. All right, yes, the farm plot is deliberately fallow in winter. So the cokery is still not like getting tasks assigned, which is kind of weird. Doesn't I didn't set up stockpile links for it, did I? No. So what's going on with our charcoal? Where's our charcoal? We have got 2 units of charcoal. All right, it's slowly being hauled downstairs, I see. Oh, yes. There they are. Let's watch them go and claim a workshop and see what they're going to make. So it just occurred to me, with people pointing out things going on in the game that I had not noticed myself, that if I could arrange to stream the game's log file somewhere that was readable, people could then just read the log file and tell me what's going on. So our moody surgeon is collecting items. And has begun a mysterious construction. Excellent. I think it was elk bird leather. Thank you. I suppose it could be quite amusing to just try streaming the entire log file into a text-to-speech processor. Have that as a separate available audio channel or something. I did think when I had the dwarf fortress in a rather lower resolution. What's that doing there? Clear off. That I could have the log file appear on the screen alongside everything else. Yes, I appreciate that I'm marking some bituminous coal here as well and some lignite, but hey, if it's in the way, may as well mine it. I don't think it's unlikely to accidentally connect back up to the bits of bituminous coal that... Yeah, we've got a slight flood there. How safe do you think it would be to very briefly pierce the caverns? Like, is there still somewhere down there a forgotten beast? Yes, of course there's somewhere down there a forgotten beast. Let's stick a hatch cover over this staircase first. So as to encourage the forgotten beast to stay down there. What I mean is, I would like not to have a flood here, and I think we're getting leakage from this level. And so the easiest way not to have a flood is to make a hole in the floor so the water will drain into the caverns. But of course that means that the Forgotten Beast might get out of the caverns. So what I'm going to do is put a hatch cover here so that at worst the Forgotten Beast gets into this mine, and then we can send the military down here. Or just leave it sealed in there for good. But ideally what we do is we make a hole in the floor here and then slap a grate over it in order to keep the Forgotten Beast in the caverns where it belongs. But I don't like flooding. But we won't do that. We won't make a hole in the floor until we've actually got that hatch cover in place, which will take a little while. I think I must have marked that at quite a low priority, or all my miners are weirdly busy. Oh, well, that's fine. Right, we've got these jobs scheduled and actually going properly. Let's wait for our coke stocks to build up a bit. Well, sadly, they're currently being run by a not very good furnace operator. Possibly I need a separate group of people who can just operate furnaces. Because that's actually something we need to have go fairly fast, it looks like. Let's separate off furnace operators from the other metal workers. Well, that's weird. This one's ended up being called number 1 again. We've already got a number 1. And anyone who isn't pretty decent in this side should probably be removed from it. Right. That will probably mean that that doctor is not actually entitled to operate that furnace. Should make things a bit faster. Right, so we now have a hatch cover there. Which means that we can make a hole in the floor here. Which will, of course, make it impossible to escape from that section of the mine. Oh well. It won't be for long. Actually, I seem to have accidentally set... let's turn down the priority of this mining. This mining is not important, and the fact that it's accidentally set at level 3 is a mistake. I am doing something here, even though it doesn't look like it. I'm downgrading the priority of all of this mining to 5, which is where random bits of mining should be. Right, and now that there's a hole in the floor here, which no one is going to go down voluntarily, I can then install a grate over it. And now I'm going to stay here watching this area just in case a forgotten beast comes up through that place where the floor grate is not yet installed. Even though there are other things I could be doing. Right, we have a gypsum scepter apparently. Decorated with elk bird leather. It menaces with spikes of green jade. On the item is an image of mosquito men in gypsum. So it's not a very exciting thing. Adil Totmon, a gypsum scepter. No image of any historical events, no. Hang on, I'm looking in the wrong place. Back down there where we are trying to make sure that a forgotten beast doesn't escape the caverns. I mean, for all I know, it's left the map by now. Ah, we just exposed a large amount of extra cavernage. Actually, I suppose what I could do is... Right, we can't currently see it in the... unit list, so that's a good indication that it's not there. Yes, we exposed a bunch of extra cavern by opening that hole in the floor, of course. I'm sure someone is coming down with our grate, but I would prefer to be watching this rather than them. These dwarves are kind of stuck on this side of the hole in the floor. Oh no, they can walk down. They can. It's got a ramp, hasn't it? So they can step down into it and then back up the other side. It'll be fine. As long as I don't accidentally seal them into the caverns, that would be embarrassing. Like if they happen to step down into that hole at just the moment we're putting the floor grate over it. Here comes the grate. Ka-chunk. Right, we are now adequately separated from the caverns again. Like, we can still let water in, which is what we wanted to do, but we can't accidentally let... we can still let water into the caverns, we can't accidentally let forgotten beasts into the fortress. Which is the main thing we want to avoid. Right, how is rebootstrapping our... No, you're smelting ore, stop smelting ore. We want to use everything we have for converting bituminous coal into coke. Right, the booze quantity is going up again now, that's nice. I'm now just thinking, why on earth don't I have all of these numbers up here feeding into Grafana or something so that I can see what's going on? Like obviously, Dwarf Fortress should expose some kind of Prometheus endpoint or whatever the cool kids are using these days. Why is someone's nose here? Get rid of that nose. Oh yes, I need to re-erect a statue in the corner of this guild hall, don't I? I'm probably in breach of my... Oh no, it's still officially a grand guild hall. Okay, I don't care then. Thank you, Jutton. No, we have plenty of booze, Dizyat. You don't. Apparently, you don't get an alert for having no booze. You only get an alert for having no food. Presumably on the grounds that dwarves can drink water if they really have to. So where is the dwarf who's making coke from bituminous coal, eh? Allegedly someone's doing it. All right, you're carrying the bituminous coal up from somewhere inconvenient, even though there's a stockpile right next door. A very rusty but talented furnace operator. Well, I hope that you will de-rust by virtue of doing this. Which will probably cheer you up a bit. Yeah, you're being quite slow about this, aren't you? Seb points out I have 5 red unhappy dwarves. Yeah, shall we find out what they're up to? Unfortunately, that pauses the game. Right. 3 of them are children. We generally believe that children are inherently grumpy, or at least sometimes inherently sometimes grumpy, which, especially for a 6-year-old, seems perfectly normal. We also have a grumpy militia captain and a grumpy recruit. Do they have any thoughts we could easily fix? Do you have a clothing problem? You don't seem to have a clothing problem now. And what's wrong with you? I mean, they're all fairly, like, again, being uncovered. What are you wearing? Why do you not have any trousers on? Like, that does seem liable to be a problem. What does this button do? All right, that allows you to look at the person. They're nowhere near depressed yet. They're just a bit grumpy. So is that the trousers icon, do you think? I mean, but the thing is, yeah, like you have trousers assigned. All right, and that deassigns them. I shouldn't press that button. I mean, I'm sure it'll sort itself out shortly, but... Like, everyone has trousers assigned, and I think they should all be set up to... the uniform is configured for... that doesn't help, does it? That's... It's not the uniform, it's the orders that need to be set up properly. So how do I... So yes, they're all set to equip always. I think all of that's correct. I'm not sure. So I think they should be wearing their trousers, but I really don't understand. The top dwarf now has custom uniform. Oh, I should fix that. Thank you. Yes, you're right. Details. Oh no. Confirm. Okay, let's reset everyone's things. So they will now all be swapping clothes. Oh, that's probably trousers, isn't it? Do we have a bit of a shortage of leather trousers? Let's make lots more leather trousers. I don't think we do, but like, safest to do so. Maybe I should start putting people in steel leggings instead. No, I think the custom uniform had trousers as well. I just accidentally selected it. I just accidentally essentially said, yes, use that, where that was what they were already set to. I think all dwarves like to keep their trousers on, perhaps slightly surprisingly. Oops, that's far too high. Oh, no, that's not. That's the correct priority. Is it sensible to dig around this thing? Yeah, go on. Then we'll stick a wall around it. Probably. Good night. I should stop soon, but not right now. I'm slightly suspicious that that we don't have a sensible way to reserve trousers for military use. Which is, whereas if we had like steel leggings, those no one would wear those. No civilian would be wearing steel leggings. Actually, no, let's not do it like that. Let's use blocks because blocks are lighter. The idea here is to wall in that, at least some of that drain shaft where it passes through the mine. Masterpiece turkey leather trousers. That is not masterpiece leather trousers for turkeys. Right, so, oh, they are slowly gaining their trousers. Good. So my assumption here is that yellow means has chosen some but isn't yet wearing them. And green means is actually wearing the correct uniform. Well, I mean, they're not, they're steel chainmail leggings, so I think they're not that uncomfortable. I mean, they're like male shirts, only lower down. I don't think they are, like, necessarily very tight. And certainly not very elastic, being as they... Well, I mean, steel's quite elastic, just not on the kind of scales that we're interested in. Right, so we are carefully walling in this drainage shaft. Though, admittedly, I suspect the waterfall is making everyone very happy. Yes. Now, maybe I shouldn't have walled it in. Maybe I should... Well, no, it's worth walling it in so it keeps the water in and stops it accidentally spilling out if something goes wrong. I think I might be running out of doors. Yes, let's build another batch of 10 doors. Right, so that will now keep the water in more or less the right place. All right, there's a hint of dampness around here. That's why the digging has stopped. Well, let's bravely mark it for mining anyway. And see how far we can get. And we've got more than enough kaolinite now. Let's see how the coal rebootstrapping process is going. Right, there's a decent amount of coke in the cokery now, so I think we can re-enable all of the tasks that will attempt to use coke, and hope that the cokery stays functional and busy enough to keep up. We can see here a dwarf going off with a wheelbarrow to pick up some more lignite. Yes, dwarves clearly have excellent braces. So another dwarf going the other way. That's another dwarf carrying coal. Excellent. So it's all being well, we can keep those, 4 dwarves will be able to keep those stockpiles adequately supplied. And as long as we have enough dwarves able to operate the coke smelter, he says hintily, yes, someone's coming, good. Where are you going? Are you going off to pick up one lump of bituminous coal because you don't think you can use the bituminous coal that's in the stockpile? See, this is the kind of thing that slows things down. When a dwarf decides that obviously they need to go to the far side of the map to find some specific piece of coal, which they will then lug all the way up to the cokery, which is a slow process because it's a largish quantity of coal. Right, we've made a load of extra leather trousers. How are things looking for the military dwarves? Okay, apparently I can't scroll that while I'm following someone. That's very silly. Well, that lot all seem to have trousers in at least yellow state. So if I scroll the map, now can I scroll this? Yes. Yes, right. So everyone at least knows where their trousers are. Dwarves don't believe in towels. I mean, I don't know how they dry themselves after they have a bath, but on which subject? I should work out what's going on with the oil situation, but possibly not now because it is 10 past midnight. How are we doing for... Has that paused to collect bituminous coal from the other side of the map? Made things worse in the coke situation. Do I need to pause everything again? It's possibly embarrassing that we've got 52 coke now. Right now the coke situation is fine, but actually what I could now do is to set this stockpile up to take from that one and that one and that one, and that will stop dwarves trekking all the way across the map to find them. But our poor furnace operator is still rusty. I mean, rust wears off reasonably quickly. Right, and now they're sensibly getting their lignite from next door and not wandering all the way across the map. I think the problem is that when they decide to take the job, they pick the nearest piece of suitable stone to where they are. Right, now a talented furnace operator with no rust, which should make things a bit quicker. Yeah, what's going? Let's have a quick look at the rock nut situation. So rock nuts are officially seeds, aren't they? Cool, look at that booze quantity. We're actually keeping ahead of the dwarves now. I think we might need to do something to destroy some seeds. Because I have a feeling that there is a maximum number of seeds you can have in the fortress, but maybe it's maximum per type, and thus I don't need to worry about it. Right, we do have 143 rock nuts, so if we have a shortage of oil, that's not because we don't have any rock nuts. It's because we haven't properly scheduled the conversion of rock nuts into oil. We could plant the seeds, but then that gets you more seeds. No, I think mostly I want to... I think I probably don't have all the necessary jobs to make... I should really have soap making fully automated. Which I don't think I do at the moment. So we should have do we have a decent quantity of ash available? If not, make ash. Do we have a decent quantity of lye available? If not, make lye. And then, do we have any rock nuts available? If so, squish them, mill them, get the oil out of them. Right, yes, so Jutton says there's a cap of 200 seeds for each plant type and a global cap of 3,000 seeds. So there's a slight danger that if we have too many of other types, we won't get any rock nuts. Maybe we're going to have to make an atom smasher just in order to deal with the seed situation. But at the moment, we do have a decent quantity of rock nuts. The problem is not that we have no rock nuts. It's that we have no. The problem, of course, is we don't want to turn all our rock nuts into oil, but that's fine. We can set a limit on when we mill them. So process plant to bag, I think, takes a quarry bush and extracts the rock nuts from it. So then, do we have any job that mills rock nuts? Doesn't look like we do. So let's work. What would that be? Mill seeds / nuts to paste. I'm going to carefully put that up next to process plant to bag, if I can find it. There's process plant to bag. Is it way up towards the top? Yes. If we can put all the soap making tasks next to one another, that will be less confusing. So let's make that rather larger than 10. Let's make that 20. Let's make it 30 because I'm feeling a bit paranoid. We've still got plenty of those. And then press liquid from paste, which should fire when we have an even halfway reasonable amount of paste to work with. So that's when we have non-pressed oil-bearing glob. And if we let's not put a liquid container requirement on that. If we run out of liquid containers, we should be making more automatically, and it's useful to get notices telling us it's not working properly. Dwarf Fortress. Pink Bee says, "Oh, Dwarf Fortress allow cats to expand without limit, but God forbid we have 201 plump helmet seeds." It also has weird restrictions on bees, but we're doing all right with cats because we now have the gelding ability, which makes life a lot simpler. Right, so that will get us oil at least. And then I appeared to have a task that's making soap from oil, yes. So that lot at least get the oil side of soap making set up correctly. So then what would the other side be? We need ash. So I think that one should be conditional on how much ash we've got. If we don't have a decent stock of ash, make some more ash. Nice simple one. Like wood, if we run out of wood, we can get more trivially. We cut down a tree. Maybe I should be collecting these somewhere other than right at the top of the list. And then make lie. Which I think should similarly be based on products. We don't want to make indefinite lie. So if we have less than 10 lie, make lie. I suppose. Now let's not give a. Let's say that isn't conditional on the supply, because then again we'll get messages telling us it can't be done if things go wrong. If it gets messy, we may have to adjust the numbers a bit. Like if it turns out the jobs are constantly fighting with one another in some way. Right. So once that lot get validated, maybe we have fully automated soap production. Which would be good, because I think we've run out of soap. Oh no, we've still got... Oh, I bet they're in the hospital, yes. The hospital, I think, has its own special stock of soap, yes. The 2 bars of soap we've got left are in the hospital for medical purposes. So no one is currently getting to wash themselves with soap, which will be making them less happy than it could be. Than they could be. Yes, I will point... Hey, Diziot wrote, fully automated luxury space communism. Delete 3 words, soap production. I'll have you know that we're making oil-based soap, so I think this is luxury soap by Dwarven standards. We're not making it from tallow. This is the good stuff. I mean, I would be making olive oil soap if we actually had a source of oil, of olives, but we don't. So we're making like peanut oil soap or the equivalent thereof. But yeah, I think this is still luxury soap, fully automated. And come to that, there's not very much by way of private property here. I think we're pretty close to having at least fully automated luxury soap communism. It's certainly collectively owned soap. There is no privately owned soap in this place. I mean, some of it's allocated to the hospital, but I think that's not incompatible with luxury soap communism. Right, anyway. And, yep, the drink numbers are going up. That's good. Right, so we currently have a shortage of... Someone tried to make lye and they couldn't make lye because there was no ash, but there is a making ash task scheduled, so this will happen. As long as we don't run out of wood, but there's clearly plenty of wood left lying around there. And also some lying around down there. So how's our mining going? Right, oh yes, we have a dampness problem, don't we? Yes. As we can see here. So I think that's water leaking in from this level. I think there's an aquifer on this level around here, which is why we're getting a bit of leakage into this section of mine. Let's not mine any more of that. Oh yes, it is quite a good butterfly, isn't it? Let's not mine any more of that kaolinite here, so as to keep the water leakage down until we've used up all the kaolinite we've already mined. Because we might need to... I mean, probably that drain will do reasonably, but we might want to add some more drains around here if we're going to have to do this to drain into this bit of cavern. Also, it looks like here we were able to take advantage of a slight overhang in the cavern wall, which we won't get here. The cavern walls here are vertical, so that's going to be a bit awkward. Pink Beast suggests a dampness problem, as the Keskalokil marketing board describes the last 6 lethal floods. Yes, something like that. Oh, we could quit. Oh, that's tetrahedrite. I thought that was something interesting. Lignite. Let's not mine all that tetrahedrite just yet. I think we have an adequate supply of tetrahedrite over here, which I think gets automatically smelted to make billen, to make jugs, to put additional royal jelly in. I think I may have accidentally scheduled smoothing of some of this space out here. Oh well, it'll be fine. Right, okay, so lots of stuff is organised. There's still this random small pile of clothes lying around in the minecart run for reasons we don't understand. There are now 0 dead dwarves in the rivers. Indeed, 0 dead sentient creatures in total. We would still quite like herring to get the... oh! Am I feeling brave enough to try sucking all those herring out of the sea? Like, we could just open it just for a little while. I'm sure it'll be safe. Sea drain south. Pull lever. I think this will not flood the entire fortress, but it will drain the sea quite quickly. So we're going to have to turn it back off again quite soon. Oh, but it won't suck the water out, the herring out, will it? Well, let's find out. I think this probably won't actually suck the herring out, sadly, but I'm going to try it. Someone's assigned to the job of pulling this lever. Right. I've just pressed the pause key. Oops. But everything is going very slowly because we did just pour a lot of water in. Let's find out where it went. First, the herring are still outside the fortress. Damn it. There are no herring in the place where I would like herring to be. Oh dear, it's flooded that level again. So, good news. Only some bedrooms are flooded. Bad news, it still floods more things than I would like. Right. So that's still not safe. That's nice to know. Let's have that lever pulled again, please. Right, we're back up to a sensible frame rate, which probably means the lever has been pulled again. No, it hasn't. Oh, that's intriguing. We're up to a sensible frame rate, but the lever hasn't been pulled. Have we got any herring in here yet? No. Disappointed. Come on, someone. That lever's scheduled for pull immediately. Don't tell me the task of pulling the lever has been assigned to someone who can't reach the lever because of the flooding. Ah, right. I think the frame rate improves when you've fully drained the sea. Come on, pull the lever. I'm going to have to find out who's assigned to the job of pulling this lever. it's a dwarven child who is a couple of rooms away. And is currently having difficulty with the dogs. Right. So that caught us 0 herring, 0 dead dwarves, and now the fortress is now having to re-drain, but it's a lot better at draining than it used to be. Like, all the bedrooms are already clear of water. And, like, you know, this room is almost empty. Flooding didn't even reach this area. Keskalokil is very good at getting rid of water now. Which is great news unless you're... Oh dear. Okay, that area can flood now, apparently. How did that flood? Like, oh, it came down that staircase. Right, yes, I see. Well, we'll fix that. There should be a door there. Once it's a bit drier, we'll use that. But happily, being as we are sensible, we stuck a drain in this room. So all the water's pouring from there into the thing. Like, Dizzy says, well, this kind of thing happened every time we use the improbability drive. Very probably, I'm afraid. We get it. Look, I'm really impressed by how fast the bedrooms dried out again there. You know, this is what I do at work. I try to build systems that recover quickly when things go wrong. It's not about stopping one of the database servers going down. It's about arranging that the second database server comes up within 10 seconds of the first one going down. That way, you're much more able to survive failures. Also, this has conveniently moved a bunch of the... Yes, pretty much everyone's bedroom now has a drainage grate in it. Well, actually, no, it's only the lower level ones. The higher ones just drain down the staircase because that's simpler. Right, there's a gap there. Let's install that door that was missing. So that next time water doesn't pour down that staircase into places it should not be. But like that water will get out soon enough. And we can probably improve on that drainage a bit. See little bits of water here as the drainage system copes. How are we off for having flooded the caverns now? Yeah, so the water is kind of pouring down into the bottom of the caverns. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 completely flooded levels of cavern, and I'm suspicious now that this level is flooded to precisely 7. I think that's as deep as it's possible to flood the cavern. So I think we've now reached the point where any more water that goes into the cavern will go off the edges of the map, rather than yes, a bit of messaging from dwarves about help, we can't get to things because there's water in the way. So now I think any more water that flows into the cavern will just go off the map and will not make things any deeper at the bottom of the cavern, which is sad if you want to drown forgotten beasts, but is good for we'll never actually fill up the caverns. Dizia says, you're making a worldwide ecological disaster then. Well, presumably eventually we'll reach a dwarven fortress that's penetrated down into the magma sea, and the water will run off down there. I mean, also, presumably there is some kind of a implicit water cycle somewhere that ensures that water can get back up from the caverns to the ocean, because the ocean seems to refill eventually. Like here it is refilling. So yes, the sea refills fine from the ocean, and I mean, to be fair, we haven't dumped, in global terms, we're like one small part of one of the map squares, and we have dropped a tiny bit of the ocean by 1 Z level. The amount of water we've put into the caverns on global terms is tiny. Justin says, I feel something must be maintaining these airfield caverns in dryness below vast oceans. Yes, yes. Why does the water not seep through? And if it does, something must be pumping it back out again. We don't know what, but something is keeping the caverns dry. Yes, the Dwemer have left something behind, clearly. I mean, we're also here clearly filling the sea up from the rivers, or at least from this river. The other one doesn't quite connect to it. I bet this is great for YouTube's video codecs. Right, anyway, having attempted that entertaining thing and found that it A, did not catch us any herring, and B, caused some more flooding. Well, the herring have all cleared off, so like... But they don't seem to have ended up in my fish trap here, which is where they should have been. At least that means I now don't feel bad about failing to catch the mackerel earlier, because that probably wouldn't have worked either. So how did this area flood then? Because why is it so deep in this corner? Where did that come from? I suppose it probably flooded very rapidly from the staircase, and now it's deep in that corner because it hasn't finished draining yet. Yeah, that's believable. Is the kaolinite mine available again? More or less, yes. That seems to have got suspended, probably because it was inaccessible. It's probably still inaccessible. Where? I hope that forgotten beast is not anywhere dangerous. It's only fighting a troll, right? That's fine. It's the forgotten beast. The forgotten beast has just killed a troll in the... I think. I suppose what we could start doing is capturing goblins and hurling them down into the caverns for the forgotten beast, except they would just go splash as they hit the bottom of the caverns, or possibly sploosh. Yes, okay, that was indeed the forgotten beast killing a troll. So the forgotten beast is still around. It's content being near to a waterfall, or... Dizzy says, no official position. Can you appoint it as your president or something? I don't think I can, no. I think it's not part of a civilization, so it can't have an official position. Right, anyway, having flooded the fortress just because I can, deflooded the fortress, scheduled fixing one of the causes of flooding, okay, what's going on with that door? It's been suspended again. Okay, we've lost the door apparently. Try again. Here's a dwarf coming back up from the slightly flooded mine with some kaolinite. That's nice. All right, that's how that water got in there. Yes. Right. I think it is now time to say good night, and we will see you on Friday. So I'll press that button and then say good night.